We're calling the meeting to order in a hybrid manner. We could have been meeting over in the COA office, but we also are meeting on Zoom because of COVID and the other two curses that are still hanging around. Let me take attendance. Kate Bliss,
Here.
heard but not seen. Lori Fairbay,
Here.
Karen Schultz is going to be absent. Pat Wheeler.
Here.
Why do I not, Rachel, I don't see you listed on here, but we'll let you
Oh.
in anyway, only because you're taking notes. That was kind of you.
I'm needed.
Yeah.
I am here.
But- So you are clearly there. All right, and Bob
Mhm.
Blair here. So we do have a quorum plus. That's a wonderful thing. Do we have minutes from the previous meeting submitted by Karen? Has anyone who has read them found any corrections or additions to make?
It's meeting minutes from the October and November meetings.
That's efficient. Anybody have any additions, corrections, heaps of praise, whatever you want to throw our way? Hearing none, I'd accept the motion to accept the minutes as submitted.
I'll motion.
I'll second.
All those in favor,
Aye.
that was Lori.
Aye.
Rachel,
Aye.
Kate, was yours the first aye, Kate?
No.
Pat,
but
that was Pat.
Okay,
Kate
Kate,
says aye.
good, and Bob says aye, so it's unanimously accepted. Could we have fiscal updates from Ms. Victoria?
All right, Rachel, are you ready?
Yes, I am.
All right. Part-time wages were $791.86.
Okay.
Director wages are $2,580.24.
Okay.
Expenses are $1,019.13. And we have $72 in donations.
Got it. Thanks.
All right. Anybody have any questions? Additional donations you'd like to make? Oh, no, never mind. We're not going there.
Christmas.
All
was
right.
passed.
Thank you for that. What's happening with Tai Chi and yoga?
Tai Chi still going strong. Yoga, we're gonna resume in January just because of the holidays. The holidays have fallen on the weekends, so we're gonna hold off on yoga till next year. The van is going to be going in for an alignment next week, just because the drivers were telling me that they can feel the wheels kind of pull when they're trying to make certain turns. So the earliest we could get the van in was next week. So it's still fine to drive now, but I just want to get it addressed.
That sounds like a smart idea. No need for it to make its own course decisions. It's always better when the driver steers it and it goes where they steer. Blood pressure clinics.
They're still going on Thursdays. Yep. First Thursdays in the month, we have a new nurse. Her name is Alicia through Neshoba Boards of Nursing. So she is coming and she's hosting the clinic
Where do they host that? Here?
here. Yep.
All right, and that is scheduled for the first Thursday, you said?
Correct, sir.
First Thursday of each
So
month.
it should be the 5th.
So does she replace Tamara?
So Tamara is the regional director. And
Uh-huh.
so Tamara doesn't do as much of the clinics anymore because of her role. So Alicia is just under Tamara covering for Berlin.
All right, goody. First Thursday at 10 a.m. COA events ideas will could also have little news on our co-sponsoring of the Twinkle Lights Tour.
Yes.
Apparently they didn't have, Judy didn't have standing room or writing on the roof for fenders only attendance, let's say. She had, I think, 5 on one run, 6 on another. I think she did it 3 weekends though, so I must be missing one.
Yeah, I
But-
think there was one weekend where she didn't have anybody reserved, but I'm not sure.
It's odd to me. I wonder why more people don't sign up for that. I mean, it's so easy to utilize, and I don't know, maybe people aren't into lights, whatever.
Well, part of what was discussed on Thursday at the Berlin Seniors Meeting was, I guess, numerous towns also had their own version of it this year. And they're wondering if people were just going to other towns because
so.
like everybody around Berlin had one this year that didn't have one previously.
Yeah, it's got to be kind of popular.
Yeah.
I know that there were a number of people that just did it on their own during the week
Yeah.
because Saturday didn't work for the folks that come through 19 Carter. They would leave there and go on the tour. 4 of them piled in a car, and when the van, had the scheduled runs on Saturday, there was a conflict with a lot of their schedules.
Ah.
So,
Well, anyway. the
and I
offer
think
is
the first
there.
weekend she did it, half of the lights weren't up yet.
Oh,
I would do it.
Yeah, and that sometimes has a bad,
Yeah, what was it about? The
There
heck
was
was it about?
some
the-
weather too.
Yeah. But I mean, we had the lighting of the trees and other activities in front of First Parish Church.
Right, you did that on the 4th, and she still did the van run, I think, on the 3rd. And I don't
Right,
know
so
if
those
anybody
light-
came, but the weather was not great for it.
Right.
Which is
Right.
why you guys bumped your
Yeah,
festivities.
right. So, yeah. So she did it on the 3rd and those trees weren't lit up and who knows how many others. Anyway, I think it's great that she was able to make that available for touring people around, and that's become a nice tradition. Obviously, other towns are green with envy, and that's why they all have their lights out. So, copycats. What ideas we have a grab and go coming up.
Yes, so let me go over the January events with you guys. We have a grab and go scheduled for January 11th with a makeup date on January 25th. They're both Wednesdays. One of the people who works for the chef du jour is going to be out on a medical leave starting in February. So hence the need to get it done in January. Flyers went out today to 19 Carter, Northbrook, and to the churches for sign up. So the cutoff for sign up is going to be on January 6th, which is the Friday before. We have the 2 options, just the turkey dinner and the lasagna for the vegetarian option.
And you don't have any reservations yet because the word's just getting out.
Yeah, word's getting out today. So I just posted it on Facebook this afternoon. So I suspect probably tomorrow or Wednesday, we'll probably get our first calls.
And how many do we have the last time?
We had ordered almost 100 meals. Just shy.
Okay, and how many this time? Well, or does it depend on how people
It's
are
gonna
signing up?
depend. Yeah.
All right. Just shy of 100.
So, yep, so that is scheduled for the 11th. And then on the 18th, we're going to have our fall prevention seminar with Marigal Medical here in the town offices down at Public Safety. So it's going to be a joint event.
what's that?
So it's fall prevention. So it's a group of medical professionals. They're going to come in and try to help everybody navigate their way to try to prevent falls. So,
Well, I thought it was sort of like daylight savings time. We're gonna cut out fall so we don't have to rake leaves.
Exactly. No.
I saw that one coming.
Yeah, well, you know,
I'm looking at a screen full of women who laughed before you even started talking because they saw it coming too.
well, that's the danger of giving me a mic, I guess. So that sounds good.
So that's what we
fall
have
prevention.
scheduled for, that is what's scheduled for January. I am working on a couple of presentations for February. Want to do one on public housing and just talking about like housing assistance for people because it's a pretty general consensus of questions that we get in pretty frequently. And then per request, we had a request of some information about like decluttering and like organizing your home and stuff like that. So so those will probably be in February because between the holidays, I'm in a training in January. I'm not gonna have time to do it before February. So
Decluttering. Yeah, that's very useful. Anything else on COA activities? Anybody have any thoughts or suggestions or ideas for some you'd like to see? No. All right. Sliding right along to the Powder House News. Where does that sit? Are we in limbo
So-
yet?
So we got good news. Lori got a call earlier today that the email that Lori was able to email the last issue last week. We had an issue because they said our account was closed because they thought our contract was closed. They called Lori today. They've reopened up our contract. They're printing it. So I don't know how fast we're gonna get it here. It was at the printers today. Because of it being right after Christmas, they're still gonna have to send it to us, so I don't know how fast it's gonna get here, but the check and the labels and everything are ready on this side, so once they get here, we can, work to get it out as soon as possible, but it's probably not gonna get out to people until the beginning of the year.
It isn't being printed in Buffalo, I hope.
No, Hartford.
They print it in Hartford.
Oh, that's a blessing.
Yes.
All right, and then for the March, April edition, we will be
With Clinton.
going to Clinton Offset.
Correct. So I have sent out about 50 letters to local companies, businesses, agencies asking for sponsorship. We've gotten two replies of yes, one of which is still working to determine an amount, and they'll get back to me on like how much they want to do, whether it's going to be a flat rate or like a monthly contribution. And then one sponsor has agreed to pay for $100 per issue.
Oh, that's excellent.
So my thought is, because I sent the letters out right before Christmas, I wouldn't be surprised if we don't hear anything for another couple weeks. But if there's any agency or any company that you guys want me to reach out to, if I haven't done so already, I will reach out. What,
Well, can we see who you, or
I can
email us or
email you
something?
guys
who-
out the list of who I've already mailed it out to. And
Yeah.
then if you guys think of somebody else, just let me know.
How much does it cost to print?
So each issue through Clinton Offset without postage is $735, and that's for 750 of them.
Okay,
So it is, it is a reasonable price. And then what they're going to be able to do is that they're going to be able to, they have their machines self-seal, they'll print the addresses on them and they will deliver it to the post office for us.
oh, excellent.
So we don't have to worry about that going forward. I
Excellent.
just have to figure out with Clinton Offset, I have to just figure out the logistics of paying the post office if we don't get enough in sponsorship costs to cover the cost of postage. Do we pay, do I then, pay the post office ahead of time and just say, listen, this is coming? Do I drop off a check with Clinton Offset every other month? I'm not quite sure. That we'll figure out.
So when they deliver it to the post office, I may have missed that because the phone rang and I had to hand it off. It goes to the Clinton or to the Berlin post office?
Berlin,
Good, okay.
Berlin.
That's why they've been able to get it out to us so soon instead of
Right.
sending, apparently they're processing it there now.
Yeah, yes. So what happens is that any publication that gets mailed to Berlin that is going to Berlin residents, I guess is supposed to be out within 24 hours. So it's the people who are getting the Powder House that do not live in Berlin that it's just going to be delayed, but it's only a handful of people. The vast majority of them live in Berlin.
Oh, that's
So-
great. They've all been getting out in the last 2 or 3 editions
Much
by
faster,
or
yeah.
before the first of the month. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's excellent. Refresh my memory. Why is it that we don't do ads, picture ads like we have been doing and have to do it as a list of sponsors?
Because municipalities cannot solicit advertisers. We're using taxpayer, the council's using taxpayer dollars. We cannot do it.
Can we do like a little sponsored by? and have
No. So
logo
we
and a
can,
logo in it?
so
With just
so-
the logo in it?
so we can't use logos. So what we're gonna do is I'm looking through some documentation that I got from Kristen in June about how do we set this up. So what it looks like is that we can do, like, the Berlin Council on Aging would like to thank our sponsors for this publication. And we can say, like, we can list everybody. Hypothetically, like, if we wanted to, we could do like a tiered system, like our bronze donation, like our bronze tier sponsors, our gold tier, our silver tier, whatever. But we can't technically use like a business card type.
Right.
Right, we can't use that as a logo for the sponsorships, because I guess unfortunately, there's some wiggle room as to whether or not then that would be an advertisement.
That is so weird. You'd think that that whoever makes these rules would think, well, that's a great thing. Some private business is paying this instead of the community.
Right,
So why not let them advertise since they are the ones who are paying the bill instead of the community?
I did note in the letters that went out that whoever chooses to be sponsored is going to be highlighted in every issue, which is true, because with the sponsorship, we're going to recognize everybody, every issue. What we can do as well, if a sponsor, say, for example, was having an event, or if a sponsor had some information that they wanted to go out to the Berlin public, what we could do is just say to them, listen, give us 30 days notice. We can put it in the next Powder House. And, you know, we can do it that way as well. So we can also highlight them in that sense as well. That is okay.
So we can put them like in the calendar.
Yeah. Or we can even do like a little like write up box, you know, if somebody had something like very in particular that we wanted highlighted,
Okay.
we could do that.
Strange. Well, whatever. We have to fly by the rules, I guess. And that one's weird, but we can accommodate it and get the money we need and put the additions out, then I guess that's what we do.
Right, this is gonna be an 8-pager, is that correct?
Correct. It's still an 8-pager like we have now. What we can do is once we know how many sponsors we're going to have and how much room that is going to take up, we can then decide, because we probably will be getting some space back, because one of our pages alone for LPI was just a giant picture that was taken up saying, hey, put your ad here. So we probably are going to get some additional room back now per issue.
A lot more room.
Yeah, so like I said, it's just going to depend on how many sponsors we get and how much room that's going to take up. So hypothetically, I think we probably could get up to a page and a half back.
At least, yeah. at
Yeah,
So
least.
that,
yeah.
so that way we wouldn't have to necessarily increase our page costs as of yet. We can trial it. And, you know, if we wanted to do like a Sudoku or like a crossword, or we could have like more recipes, or we could have like a, you know, like a thoughts column or whatever, we would have the room to do it.
Winning lottery numbers,
Not so much on that one, but
well,
Bob's jokes.
appeal to me.
as long as they're G-rated, we could think about a knock joke corner. So.
Yeah. Laurie, terribly bad idea, Bob's jokes. No.
Just to give
Sorry.
you guys a heads up as well, we are starting a new column in the Powder House starting this issue. It's called Berlin History Makers. So what we're doing is we're gonna be recognizing people who've passed on, but who have contributed to Berlin's history and have made a positive impact in the town in some way, shape, or form. It could be an individual, it could be a family, it could be, you know, whatever. So for this issue, it is Doris and William Lowe. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna open it up. So that way, if people have suggestions of people that they would like to have featured, because as you guys know, we are getting more new families into Berlin between Highland Ridge and, you know, some of the housing developments. It's a good way to highlight part of what's made Berlin Berlin and given people some connection to town. So what we'll do also is, you know, we'll put a little blurb out in the next Powder House and just say, you know, if anybody has any suggestions about a history maker, let us know and we can do a blurb.
All right. And on those notes, we've been typically, I think we only had one this time, but we've been typically introducing two movers and shakers, we've been calling them in town. I don't think we've run out of gas on that, but does anyone have suggestions about who we might include in the
So
next one or two?
we have two new people who are gonna be starting in the town. So my thought was to ask them. They haven't started as of yet, and I can't name them as of yet, but they will be announced to the public soon. And my thought was to ask them. There's two people.
Okay, well, we know Chief Clark's not retiring till the end of January.
Right, but somebody is coming.
Yeah. And we won't say what that position is, but it has to do with red trucks and lights and ladders and hoses.
Yeah, and the other one's related to money.
Yes.
Ah,
So we figured we can highlight the two new, and then I did ask Dennis if he wants to do a farewell in the Powder House. He asked to have it be in the next issue, which I said was fine, so he will have that as well.
Okay. And if anybody else has a sudden brains, you can't sleep at night because you're thinking intensely about someone else who ought to be in there, please let us know. You know that we try to have all of the material together by the third week of the month before the edition date, like March, April. We want it halfway through or third week in
February.
February.
What I will do is, when I talked to the Joes in person, they said that, the Powder House can be emailed over in a PDF, Lori.
Yep.
It sounds like within 72 hours, there's turnaround.
Oh,
So-
that's excellent.
So it's not gonna be long, unless like, you know, something happens like out of their control, but,
Yeah.
and I can ask them if there's a particular day of the week that they prefer, just because I'm thinking like, you know, the end of the week may be too nuts trying to get it to the post office, and Mondays may not be good either. So I'm gonna ask them if there's a preferred day of the week that they want submission.
Okay.
And we can go from there.
We all might, via our connections with different groups in town, encourage them, if they have information about upcoming events, to please submit them to us, because it seems like every time we start to put an issue together, we're running around trying to round up information to go into the Powder House News. It's happened with the two churches now, almost every edition.
Yeah.
And the
I would
library
say,
never
I would
sends
say,
anything.
I would say, Lori, if we get to a point where you haven't heard anything and we're coming up close to the submission date, just let me know. And if there's other like filler information, I don't want us to wait for somebody else if they're not going to get it. Cause it's like, I want to be respectful of our time. Like, I don't want to cut somebody off, but at the same point too, I need people respectful of our time. And because I am trying to get emails out at the first of the month being like, listen, you got 2 weeks, send it to Lori if you got anything. And if we still don't hear anything, I don't want to drag it either.
No, sounds good.
And also, the other column we have been doing is the 5 Ws. We've been talking about 2 of the farms in town already and a whole bunch of other things. If anybody has something you've wondered about or something you think is significant that the fellow townspeople should know about or would be interested to know about, or newcomers might not know about that we should tell them about, let's round up that information, get somebody to do an article for us.
Hmm.
On historical stuff, Barry Yeager's been a real good source because he knows the middle initial of everybody who's lived in town for the last 200 years. And
And then some.
some. I really is, well, guy's mind is like a steel trap when it comes to historical information. It's incredible. And Walter Bickford, of course, has a ton of stories. So, I mean, those are just a couple of examples, but there are a lot of, and Jane Sawyer
Yep.
has, a lot of people in town have a bunch of stories. Some of you may.
Hmm.
And if so, speak up, because it would be nice to have your input.
How about a story on Guy Sawyer's auctions? Maybe Jane could write something up on that.
Yeah, they went on for a long time. I always thought that was her father and it was her uncle.
Yeah.
Okay. let me
Guy
just-
Sawyer was Jane's uncle.
Yeah.
I think Guy Sawyer was her grandfather.
Oh, yeah, I'm not thinking of Guy anyway. I'm thinking of who did the auctions, though? That was
I thought that was her mother and father.
Sid.
Sid Sawyer.
Dead.
That's right.
Yeah. Sawyer auctions. That would be fun. I was really pleased with the two-part piece that Dave Westerling did on the dam, the flood control dam. That was, I never knew 2/3 of that information. And it's such a visited place in town, all kinds of people, including people who like to paint the rocks with all sorts of interesting things.
Yeah.
Sawyer auctions, okay. Auctions. Any other business?
Our budget has been sent to personnel and FinCom. I'm gonna be meeting with Finance Committee February 1st. I have updates for Council and Social Services to Select Board January 6th and sometime in March. And I'm gonna be at Coffee Talk because we're gonna be there talking about the community needs assessment that's gonna be going out. They are looking at postcards going out in the beginning of February. And the surveys are gonna go out to households of people 50 and older sometime mid-February. And you're gonna have about 3 to 4 weeks to get it back to them. We haven't, Kristen and I met with them a couple weeks ago. We're waiting for a draft to come back, and then hopefully we will get the survey finalized.
And who, you said a couple of times who is actually doing the survey?
It's UMass Boston.
UMass Boston, okay. And does it get presented to the public in
Ye-
other than written form or just in a written
Yes,
form?
so normally what they do is that once their findings are completed, they schedule a presentation date for the town. And then they're aiming for sometime either end of May, beginning of June for a presentation date. So when they have the info that they need, they'll let us know, and then it'll be scheduled and presented to the town as a whole.
Okay, I hope that doesn't run into town meeting time, but competing,
I don't think it would. I mean, they'll be cognizant of whatever's going on in town, but it should be, I think it'll be good when we kind of see what happens with the results and stuff. So, yeah.
And Victoria,
is
how
that?
much, how much time do people have to,
They're
complete it?
estimating about 3 weeks, but
3 weeks,
depending on
okay.
how fast the surveys get out, it could be a little longer.
okay, thank you.
how big or long is the survey?
Rough draft was 50 questions.
And they're not all true, false, or 1, 2,
No,
3. They
No,
also
no,
ask for
no.
people's opinion.
They're a nice hodgepodge of, like, if you have a particular comment, you can write one in. there's yes, nos, there's like, you know, like your agree, strongly disagree, that type of stuff.
Hmm.
So it's a hodgepodge.
Food for thought.
Interesting.
Literally.
Good. And they also, in doing this, putting this together, putting the questions out, also assess what is available to the community at this point.
What's available, what is available and what do you think is needed? Yes.
Right. Okie dokie. Anybody else have additional business or additional information to provide or questions to ask? Is Chris present on this meeting?
No,
So we had nobody from the town. I mean, you're from the town, but other than that,
nope, just me today.
well, we may do. So that was good. That was, we're happy for that.
That's right.
No other business? So our next meeting date is the last Tuesday at 4 PM, which would amount to what, January?
It is January 31st on the dot.
January 31st. Yeah, for some reason I had it in my head, it was the fourth Tuesday, but it's the last.
Yeah, because we do have a few months of, there's 5 Tuesdays, so.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
unless you guys want it on the 4th Tuesday, but
What's anybody's opinion? Is it easier to remember if it's the same Tuesday every month, or is the last work?
The last works better for me because sometimes I have other deadlines that fall in and around that fourth Tuesday. So
That would be the
you
last.
might have to deal with me not being here if that works
No,
better for everybody else.
I'm good with the last Tuesday of the month.
Yeah, I
Okay,
don't have any preference.
For me.
I'm here
Hmm.
regardless, so.
Me too. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't.
yeah. And I'm with Rachel. I don't have a preference on that either.
No.
Okay, so it's the last Tuesday. Very good. I'd entertain, unless somebody has anything additional you'd like to ask. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion that we adjourn.
A second.
Second.
All those in favor? Rachel,
Aye.
Kate,
Aye.
Lori,
Aye.
Pat,
Aye.
Bob, aye.